We have scenes from the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja, where another plane with Nigerian returnees have arrived the capital city. The plane touched down at about 6:35 p.m. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development is currently receiving them.
We're sure there is.
See them going out.
Our correspondent Moyo Thomas is live at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport, and she joins me now for an update on the development at that side of the country. Moyo, what's the updates where you are?
Okay, so I'm at the foot of the aircraft, and I don't know if you can see, it's actually dark. The aircraft is behind me, and the returnees are disembarking to go into the bus that is parked here that will take them to the arrival terminal. It's actually dark, but I think you can still see. According to the information we got at this time, there are about 180 Nigerians that boarded the aircraft, and it has a 180 capacity. So that means it was fully, it was a full capacity plane that landed today. And then we also heard that there are about 5 children on board too. And then the information we also got says that about 50 other Nigerians are still in Poland waiting to be evacuated. So we think Nigeria at this time would be making arrangements to have the other people evacuated. Earlier on, when I spoke with the DG of NEMA, he actually said this is an ongoing process, an ongoing exercise. So we know that they will still return to Poland to bring more. And then later on, I would also be speaking to the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs to find out what are the other plans they have for other Nigerians, especially those still remaining in Poland at this time.
What's the total figure of Nigerian returnees, and what exactly is the mood that you could capture when they stepped off that plane?
The mood definitely is that of relief for most of them. If you can see their faces, it's actually dark, but if you can see their faces, you will see that they are relieved to be back in the country at this time. And then the total number that we have for now, earlier in the day we had 415 arrived, and then now we have 180. But government says the arrangement is to bring back about 5,000, initial 2,000, and then other arrangements for the other people. So we're expecting that the arrangement will keep going until all Nigerians that truly want to return, because we still know that there are some Nigerians that don't want to return brought back. And then I also spoke with the parents outside earlier that was actually anxiously waiting for her nephew to also, who is also one of the returnees now, waiting anxiously to receive her nephew.
What's the update with the House of Reps delegates that went to supervise this exercise? Are they back now?
Okay, so they went to Romania, and that was the flight that came in the morning. They returned about 8 a.m. with a flight that came in the morning. So they are back in the country from Romania.
Last night we gathered that over 2,000 Nigerians made it from Ukraine to Poland, but far less are willing to return. Do you have precisely the figures now of Nigerians waiting to be transported home? We may have to return to Moyo Thomas, who is standing by live for us at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, where another plane with Nigerian returnees have now arrived the capital city. Well, the plane, we're told, touched down at about 6:35 p.m. Moyo is back now. I was asking you about whether you now have an updated figure as regards Nigerians who are willing to return and who are waiting on the evacuation plan by the federal government. Moyo Thomas live for us in Abuja. We'll get back to us subsequently in the course of this bulletin. Well, earlier today, about 415 Nigerians returned home from Romania, and this is happening days after Russian forces invaded Ukraine, taking over major cities in that country. After a long flight, most of the returnees are now settling in with their families and friends. Moyo Thomas filed in this report earlier.
The federal government has begun the evacuation of Nigerians from neighboring countries of Ukraine, as promised. The first batch of returnees arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, at about 7:10 a.m. and were immediately profiled. After taking their details in a form, they had the mandatory COVID-19 test for people arriving in Nigeria. The Nigerian Immigration Service also stamped their passports on arrival. Most of the students spoke about the trauma of having to flee a war zone.
But then they have like 1,000 Africans and plus Indians, so it was really crowded. Only 50 could pass. Then they now told us that after 2 hours, we should wait, that they'll come back. Then they let their citizens pass with so much freedom. It was very bad. They really pushed us, move inside, really pushing us. They felt like three free shots in the air, about to like shoot at us for no reason, just because we are blacks.
We didn't know when the war would come, when the soldiers would come knocking. We didn't know how the situation would turn up. So there were a lot of people rushing out of the border at the same time. That created a lot of panic all around, a lot of pandemonium.
They were all happy to be back home and in safety nonetheless. Government says provision has been made for psychosocial services and other provisions they may need.
The president has already approved for all the evacuees to be given $100 each to go back home.
They're going to proceed home with their families, but if they need any further support, we'll be there to give them that kind of assistance until they settle in, because they've been through some kind of trauma. Everybody has their level of resistance and resilience, but if they need us, we're there.
The students then collected their $100 each.
I didn't expect it. When I heard $100, you don't see it. Real $100 bills. So yeah, probably convert it to Naira then. Easy to be supporting myself, yeah.
From the experiences shared by all these returnees, war is definitely an undesirable phenomenon. It has now put a clog in the wheel of their studies, making them unsure of what their next move will be. But it also sends a message to us all as Nigerians. We need to stay united, avoiding drumming up wars. Moyo Thomas, TVC News, Abuja.